Hi everybody. Today, cold brew coffee, hipster coffee, whatever. I like it. And welcome back. This is part two of the hipster coffee videos. I just like to say that. I don't know why. I shouldn't really make fun of hipsters. They probably watch my videos. At least I hope they do. But anyway, it's cold brew coffee. Everybody's seen it. It's at Starbucks. It's here. It's there. It's really expensive too, and I don't know why. It shouldn't be. And I'm thinking this is not a new invention, because if you really think about it, when man first discovered coffee, which, first off, how did we get from this weird berry on a tree that, let's just be honest, tastes kind of like crap? I don't know why. How did we get from that to coffee, where who got the idea to roast that and make it into something that we'd actually like? Kind of like chocolate. You ever have chocolate from a tree, like cacao bean? Not the same. Coffee and chocolate are actually related. Now you know something. Anyway, I shouldn't say that. Now you know another thing. How's that? So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to make it. First thing you want to do is have roasted coffee beans. Here we have roasted coffee beans, nice and black. See? We made these just yesterday. However, you don't have to roast your own. I encourage it because it's nice to know where your food comes and have the concept. Even do it once. Just do it one time, get it out of the way. Now you can say, I have roasted coffee. It's kind of a cool thing. I like to roast my own on occasion, and I don't make this all that often. You'll understand why in a minute. I'll explain. But what you want to have is a good coffee grinder. Now, you don't have to spend a lot of money for a coffee grinder. There's $1,000 models out there. Don't. I'm going to show you two different things. We have this one, right? And we have this one. Notice this one's electric. This one's human powered. This one is a coffee grinder. This one is an implement of coffee destruction. This will make powder of your beans. It will make inconsistent sizes. In short, it will ruin a cold brew. Might be perfectly fine for that morning cup that you're not too picky about. But if you want to make good cold brew, don't use one of these. This will ruin your cold brew. I promise you. So much so, I'll put it over there. This one. Now, is it a tedious process? A little. Is it long? Sort of. Does it require some manual labor? Yes. Is it worth it? Abso-freaking-lutely. So, the way this one works, this has ceramic stones in it, okay? This is what the grinding burrs really are. In the electric grinders, they're always metal. They go so fast and so hot, they make an inconsistent grind. The ceramic burrs, you want to open it up almost as wide as it'll go. Basically, you want to make what looks like breadcrumbs, okay? When we say grind, it's more like cracked. It's not really a grind, and you'll see why very soon. So I'm just going to pour this in here. Now what I had is maybe a little over half a cup in this, and that's enough to make a quart or so of cold brew. So, start grinding. Before I go too far, I want to show you what that grind looks like right off the bat, just so you can get an idea. See how big those chunks are? Sure, you get some dust. I know, somebody's going to say it. But see how big those chunks are? That's what you really want. This brews for 24 hours. I know what you're thinking. 24 hours? Yeah, it really does. But it's cold water. Well, room temperature water. Cold brew is kind of a misnomer, because you can do it with cold water, but it's going to take a lot longer, and it's not as good. Here's some grinding. Doubles as a little bit of a workout. And we're done. So we have our grinds. Put that into our brewing vessel. You fill that with water. Put a lid on it. Let it sit 24 hours. After 24 hours, you strain it. Now, I'm not going to show you the straining portion of this, but basically use a fine mesh, a really fine mesh strainer, and maybe some cheesecloth or a paper towel or even a coffee filter. Think about it. Put a coffee filter in your strainer, pour it through, done. That other stuff, you can compost that. We do. Tomatoes love that stuff. But I have a little problem with this. See this jar? It's a lovely jar. However, it's a quart. It's 1 quart. That means 32 ounces. If you do 8 to 12 ounces of coffee at a time, what are you getting out of this? 4, 5 servings at most? Yeah. I don't waste time with that. This is what I make my cold brew in. Now, why do you say that? Well, here's why. Unlike regular coffee, when you make regular coffee, if you don't drink that within a couple hours, it's just no good anymore. You don't want to drink that. Let alone the next day or a week. Cold brew, a month. Good for about a month. And that's just sitting on the counter. You don't even have to refrigerate it. I do. Just because I like to have options and I like it to be cold. We actually have a water cooler in our house. So I make mine just a little bit stronger. And you'll see my ratios a little bit stronger than some might say. So that way I can add a little hot water to it and heat it up, make hot coffee. Or I can add more cold water to it, a little sugar, a little milk, and I got my own iced coffee. It's actually a really, really versatile thing. Now this is a 3/4 gallon jug. I know because I measured it just this morning. I like to use a 1 to 6 ratio. 6 quarts of water, about 1 quart of beans, right? Well, to save you the trouble of having to watch me grind out all these beans, I did them earlier. So this is going to be a little bit over. It's going to be a little bit stronger than I usually make it, but that's okay. I'm trying to prove a point that you don't have to be so exact with your measurements. And you can always adjust it to taste. If you make it stronger, like more concentrated, you can water it down a little bit and make this go a little bit further. Now, the reason that I don't use this one is, as much as this is a lovely size and it'll make it in a day, it takes no more time to make this than this, other than the grinding. But this lasts me almost a month. This would last me maybe a week. So I just kind of have a problem with that. But anyway, so I'm going to pour these in. And hopefully not spill them all over the place because I spent a lot of time grinding this. Oh yeah, there we go. You can see all those. And they're the same grind, same exact beans. These are the beans that I roasted yesterday. So in yesterday's video when I said they're going to be making coffee in an hour, I lied. One day. But once you roast beans, they're good for about 6 weeks. Once you grind beans, they're good for about 12 hours. Yeah, 12 hours. Think about that. All you guys that are buying ground coffee, how long was that there? Guess what you bought? Sawdust. Might as well be. Grind your own beans. I can't say that enough. It actually really makes a huge difference. You will get such a different aroma and depth of flavor from that coffee. Never mind the fact that it has more caffeine in it. So, most people are drinking coffee for that caffeine. What's the point in buying coffee that has less caffeine and then letting it sit for longer with less caffeine? Yeah, you get what I'm saying. But anyway, you see how much coffee's in there? Look at that. That's like, wow, we're almost at 1 to 4. So this is going to be a nice concentrated coffee. Okay, let me just get these things out of the way. Don't really need them anymore. Don't need this anymore. Now, coffee is a very simple thing. There's 2 ingredients. Well, 3, technically. The first ingredient is coffee beans. The second is water. The third is time. We'll call time an ingredient for now. So, like most things that are really simple, it's all in the details. Like I said, you want to make sure that grind is nice and crunchy, nice and big, like breadcrumbs is the easiest way to describe it. Also, make sure they're super fresh. This just, wow. I ground these just a couple of hours ago. Not very long at all. I actually had to charge up the camera. Sorry. But everything is fresh. Roasted fresh yesterday. Ground today. Put in here. The water is next. don't go using tap water. Now, if you have a well, use tap water. Absolutely. As long as you know that that's good water, use it. Chlorinated water and all the heavy metals and the minerals and my tap water sucks. I'll be totally honest. And I hope somebody in St. Petersburg is watching from the municipality about the water, because it's horrible. We're regularly pouring sand out of the thing. It's awful. That's why we have a water cooler. I might do a video on a reverse osmosis system that we're thinking of getting soon, though. So watch for that. Then again, I might not, and I might just talk about it instead, because it requires going under the sink, and I just don't look good from that angle, so I'm not sure that I'll show that. But anyway, so what I have here is, this is Florida spring water. It's actually reverse osmosis water. They say spring water, but whatever. Don't believe packaging anymore. It's just not true. So I always take the nozzle because it's so much easier. And I'm literally just going to pour this in here and hope I don't make a mess. And just a few drops. Now, one thing, before you stir, don't fill it all the way to the top, because it soaks up the liquid and goes right up into it. So let me get a spoon here and I'll give this a stir. Now, I'm not going to use the front end of the spoon. I'm going to use the back end of the spoon. You might recognize this as the spoon used in the coffee roasting video just yesterday. It's made a second appearance. Notice how dark that's getting? Now, I like to shake this up every so often. I just like to. I don't know why. I don't know that helps or hurts anything at all, but I just like it. It's fun. Okay, so that's all moistened now, and you can see it's pretty heavy. All that coffee is sitting at the top there. I'm just going to pour some more water in. I give it a little bit of headroom, not because it grows or anything like that, but just because of the way coffee does actually, it expands as the water gets to it. So, clamp this on. Some people say put cheesecloth or loose lids. There's no fermentation going on here. There's no off-gassing. There's no production of any products of any kind other than flavor. So I don't worry about pressure buildup or anything. There's nothing. Package it up, make it good, and then I give this a good shake. You'll notice it gets it all over the lid and everything, and I'm sorry, but some of that's just not going to get brewed. But that's, again, why I like to shake it up. Now, this sits for 24 hours. No less, no more either. If you go less, it's just going to be weaker. It won't pull out all the flavonoids that are in there, and it's not going to be as strong. It's not going to be everything that it could be. Let's put it that way. And if you go longer, we've all overbrewed coffee before, right? It starts to get bitter and nasty, and it's just not a good thing. That's what happens when you overbrew it. So you want to make sure that you go 24 hours, no more, no less. And in 24 hours, you're going to pour this through a strainer with cheesecloth or a coffee filter. Refrigerate it if you want to. Keep it on the counter if you want to. Drink a little bit at a time. It's good stuff. Now, I do this because I have acid reflux. I hate acid reflux. It gets on my nerves. It's really annoying. It stops me from sleeping, but I love coffee. I used to have coffee every single morning, and I know I was making my life even worse. Now I've gotten to a point where I drink coffee just because I enjoy it, like I said in the other video. But this has so much less acid in it. The bitterness and everything is gone. Let's put it this way. Yesterday, Derica had a migraine. Okay. One of the things that is really good for getting rid of migraines is a little bit of caffeine. She took her medication, and it didn't take. For the first time in years, it just didn't work. She felt horrible. She hates coffee. Absolutely hates coffee. You can't even stand the smell of it. She smelled this when I first ground it, and I wish I had a camera on her to show you the face that she made. But I poured her some of this with some sugar and some milk yesterday, and it was okay. She was able to get it down, let's just put it that way, even though she was a little bit nauseous and not feeling well. So this can change people's minds about coffee. It's not the same. It tastes like coffee, but it's better. It's richer. I find it to be much more full-bodied, much more flavorful. And it has all the caffeine still. Trust me, it's not short on caffeine at all. So give this a try. By the way, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw or you have anything to say or anything to add, leave a comment below. Give me a like on the video. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button over there. We really need your support. We love making these videos and we like showing people how to do stuff. By subscribing, you get to see everything that we do and it lets us make more. All right? So thanks a lot, you guys. Have a great day.